This conference will now be recorded.
Call the meeting to order. Good evening, everyone. Agenda and motion been made. Say aye. Opposed? Motion passed. Minutes from November 17th.
Motion to approve the meeting minutes from November 17th.
Motion was made. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion was made. Second. Any discussion? None. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Aye. Motion passed.
I have to abstain.
All right, one abstention.
No, it's your last name. Yeah.
You said you don't use it. Thank you. Sorry. Anyway, I think we're good. Financial report.
Yeah, so you can see some of the festival, hopefully, or I'm assuming this is some of the last line items we'll see as far as festival and our monthly accounting cash sheet. Other than that, normal, the Zeba check that we approved just 2 months ago is finally showing up here too. So other than that, if you have any questions, feel free to ask.
I'm not seeing these 3 stars here. We said this.
Oh, I think that was my error.
Oh, is that nothing? Okay. Kept looking for it and I wasn't finding any stars.
Yeah.
Any questions? If not, I will make a motion to approve the accounts payable. There's a second.
Second.
Motion's been made and second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's passed. Public hearings, none, I'm assuming, right? Old business, Rochester sales tax.
Yeah, so today we have Kim with us to hopefully field any questions you may have, stemming from the past 2 months of conversations when this first arose. And in your packet, you're going to have all the attachments that I handed out last month just to help, spur thought and remember some of the things we were discussing. I also included our EDA budget too. If you have questions, you want to look at that because I know we had the budget 2 months ago, but then last month it wasn't part of the packet. So we want to use it as a reference or to go over. So long story short, we have the 2018 breakdown of the RST dollars. We have the little matrix I put together for our fund account, just like last month. And Brian submitted questions from an Excel sheet that he keeps as well. So that's there if seeing other people's questions sometimes helps formulate your own, and then obviously the budget. So Kim is here. She's staying late today.
I think we requested you to come in January. Is that what our minutes said? They have Kim come in January?
Is that what it says?
Mhm.
No, last month we asked for this month. Yeah.
Yeah,
I can come in anytime you want.
we appreciate you doing this, really, thank you.
Oh, I think we said January because she was having surgery.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay, so on the Rochester sales tax revenue spreadsheet, any of you have any questions specifically for Kim?
I do. So, Kim, so we were trying to remember, like, the businesses that paid back their, sorry, I gotta go this way so I can see
The
you.
only business that paid back so far is Mike Frank.
Okay, so would
That
the,
would be another 10 grand. It's all housed in one fund. Sure. So basically, the original, I cannot remember the name, I think it was $347,000 or right thereabouts.
Yep.
There was 150, or 50 for the theater, 100 for forgivable loan program, 10 was paid back for my, and then the whole process of that took a couple of years, actually, when you guys were all discussing it. And so the three-legged stool was spoken about, 50 to the theater, 100 for forgivable loan, and the remainder for the.
So what about like when we not do that? So they didn't pay.
He didn't sell, that is leased to Nelson, they don't own the building.
Oh, so the building
Improvement, not necessarily business.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
So that's
Interesting. And then was there anyone else that,
Just my friend.
okay, so that's the,
So my guess is we.
10,000.
Hopefully they'll use it and they won't have to get it back.
right.
But there's another 10, give or take, that came back, that's sitting there that could be loaned out or.
I think that's what we were looking at for, like, to cover the PA system. or-
So did the Guilty Goose ever submit their paperwork?
18, that actually came in, I think, I want to say late 19. So those are historic numbers that don't
Yep.
quote.
Yep.
Because I went through all of them today, I pulled the meeting minutes back until, I think, 13 or 14, just to verify how that was laid out.
So on this spreadsheet, the Guilty Goose, there's nothing for recording fees or dispersed amounts.
It has been, that's historic, I think, that, was it through 18, Dylan?
Yeah, this one, the last one didn't have.
Let me get an update through, I'll get an update through 20.
Well, here's a, I don't know if you have this one.
I don't, but I know what you're talking about. I was talking about. I'll have to get you the, I'll get you an updated. I know you got it. Yeah, I know you got it too because I looked at it. So.
You have a pack.
I do, but yes, sorry.
So then that's kind of our question, Kim. So then we had allocated $100,000 to the building
Forgivable
improvement
loans.
projects. And so we spent 86,000 of it. We awarded 86,000 of it. 10,000 came back. So in essence, there should be,
No, I think there's more. 86,000, I have to look at that again. Because when I counted them up today, there were 10. So that would be like 90.
Yeah, see, and that's what was discussed last
Right.
month too, that there's one extra on here, but nobody seemed to remember or know who it was.
Well, if you put the goose on there, then it's at 96,084.
But then you gotta take off
10. Yeah, so then you're back to 86,000.
Yeah.
Which would leave
13 and change.
13 and change, which is interest. It's been in there since, the money's been in there since.
perfect. Okay, so we're right in.
So then when last month we approved that sound system up to 10,000, can that come out of this money?
That's up to you guys, but you have to make a motion and I believe,
I think we did.
I don't know if we'll have to go to 10,000 because it has to.
Yeah, well, that's what was in the notes. I thought that the mayor said that it wanted it to brought back before the council.
That was
Do we have it on the council agenda?
Well, if we, how much is it that they need?
12,000?
Well,
Well, they did
They've gotten
12,500 and they got
1,500.
15.
Is that installed?
No.
I mean,
Oh, like, does that include installation? Is that what you're asking? Yes.
Because I called.
I thought you meant, is it already there?
Okay, I called, look, because I was really curious about it. Continuing extensions.
Yeah.
And how they would be. So I spoke to the gentleman staff. And I asked him if the system that they had was 100% paid for by the city or if there was cost sharing. I also asked him about, he really liked the system. He said their system cost $35,000 and it was like 20,000. I wanted to say in the 20s for the equipment and then there was install for the additional amount. And then I said, was there cost participation? And he said the commercial club kicked in like 50%. So I just went into the ongoing monthly costs were approximately the SoundCloud costs. And I asked him if, I was also concerned about ASCAP licenses and things like that, because I didn't want the city all of a sudden having to pay hundreds of dollars out for ASCAP licenses. And so,
So just so you know, it's not just the ASCAP, there's others.
yeah, but this is all covered under SoundCloud,
Oh,
which I
okay.
don't know,
Oh.
which is good for that. Yeah, so I did do a little background research into it, so.
what was the continuing cost?
I believe the SoundCloud cost was about 16 or about $20 a month. And then he said the Public Works Department had installed the nest for the speakers, but the other company, and I wrote it down, but I can't remember, installed the actual speakers themselves. So, but their Public Works only put the nests in. They did not do the wiring or anything like that. I asked him if they had difficulty with it. He said, no, they've had it about 4 years. So,
And where was that one?
Luck, Wisconsin.
Oh, that was the same one that they went to?
so I'm like, okay, so I didn't know how big their system was or how extensive it was. I was just like, is that installed or? My question.
Okay, so just to make sure we're clarifying here, we've determined with this that we've got about 13,000 plus change available to use. Now, if we, and did we pass that last month?
Up to 10,000.
10,000.
Up to 10,000. So, but, and I can't remember if I saw it from you or where, but the city council has to approve it even though we approve it,
If it's 10,000.
if it's 10,000.
So 9,999, then we're
Yeah.
good.
Because I was talking with Todd about it, and he said, well, if it goes to 10, just send it to the January council meeting. He said he's busier this month. So I can put that in the notes too. But the EDA bylaws say, any type of assistance at 10,000 or over, has to go to council as well.
Then the question is, do we want to just give them 999? Or
9,000.
I don't-
whatever?
Right? I don't,
You can't give somebody something without proof of receipt. My auditors would.
oh, no, I know that.
Oh, okay.
She's saying, no, without having to go to the city council. Not that it makes any difference, but
No. I mean, it would be, they would give us,
So basically the same as the improvement loans for everybody else.
right, but it would be an improvement for the town as a whole, basically. So what I'm saying is the decision we have to make is, are we just going to come back so we don't have to get council approval? Or should we give them the whole rest of this that we have in there and be done with this? And just send it up to council to.
No, I think we should keep with our number because I think, at least knowing for me when I made that motion, I still think Zeba needs some skin in the game.
Yep.
I think that's a
or other
a big
commercial clubs,
deal.
like they're working on,
Like,
like the Lions, they got some dollars from, but
Oh, so they're getting other money.
Correct.
They don't, I didn't.
They're trying.
I couldn't remember how much.
They're trying.
For.
but I also think that if they can't quite reach it all, there is money in their checkbook. Like they can come forth with something, being as it was their idea and they presented it to the city and it really is focused on very much a downtown aspect of it. So I think we should.
I still think there's some questions that need to be asked because they referred to Luck and Luck was 35,000. Maybe it's a bigger system, but we're a little concerned that maybe all the questions weren't asked. Maybe there's some other costs here.
Right.
Plus, if we bring it to council, we should know what the city is going to be expecting for a yearly,
Yeah.
are we paying for electricity, are we paying for the license, are we paying, what's the city going to pay for moving forward? We at least need to be able to answer that question for the.
Should we,
So maybe,
or does somebody have those questions listed that maybe we should be emailing?
I do. I had it on last month's memo, and that was sent to and given to Chris.
Okay.
But just like you said, installation costs, maintenance costs, electric costs, Wi-Fi costs, computer costs, you need to buy a computer, you need to buy a server.
Yep.
The licensing cost or the app subscription to the music package. I don't anticipate all of them to add up too much, but
we should be able to answer the question anyway.
well, right. And I think what we did was provide them at least so they can move forward. They know that they have some seed money to move forward with and answer all those questions. And then, instead of chasing all the questions and then they can't get the money together and it's just, 6 months of work that doesn't come to any sort of fruition. So,
Yeah, so if we could hold it off till the January meeting, first meeting in January, we can get these questions answered ahead of time.
For the council.
Anticipation for the council, yes.
I think we don't also,
They aren't going anywhere with this money now anyway, I don't believe.
well, it was back order too and stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
It would be months. I
So
thought she said 3 or 4 months out before it could even,
I think they just know that
it's
they have
available.
some support from,
Mhm.
Right, so they could at least get on the list.
and it might not even happen. If they can't come up with the rest of the money, then
Well, so it was
It's a done deal.
12 or 12.5. I'm trying to remember the total number. I have to get 1,200 from the community trust. So then they're looking for 10.5, and we're going to potentially give them up to 10, but hopefully, they'll see the way.
They should be able to find $500 somewhere.
Well, and these are good questions as far as who's going to be responsible for it going forward. Because I guess maybe wrongly so, but my understanding was that we're going to help them get it, but this is their baby. You pay for the licensing, you pay for the maintenance, you pay for any computers you need. It's downtown Ziba, whoever you want to say. And I didn't think other than maybe some help from the city crew, that the city should have any responsibility.
Well, that was part of the discussion about, they said, well, we think it would be best at City Hall. And we already have computers, they said. So it kind of morphed into
No,
we would run it from here, which might make sense. I don't know.
I think it does, because
You know,
again, it's for the city. And
Yep.
everything starts with somebody opposing something.
so what do we want
At
to
the end of the
do?
day, well, the city's going to, will end up with the,
I'm what?
I would say, but at the end of the day, the city will end up over the years, housing that and, well, businesses change over and,
No, that's true. But
Well, and that was the fear that.
right, so that's why you want to know is
The
what,
Christmas lights were put up. Any city at all, now they want us to go take them all down.
but again, they should be. I don't know why we don't. Like, I mean, that would be asinine that we wouldn't. Why would we not as a city
Well, that's
put up and
when-
take down the,
When these things come up, well, if we want to light the whole downtown, absolutely, but back when that was done, it was the commercial club involved, and now.
that's because our old ones are so bad and somebody that was here would not replace them. So,
Yeah, no, but we just need to go into it with our eyes open and, be able to answer the questions.
so we're going to leave things as is and revisit this at our meeting. Hopefully, we've gotten some direction from the council before that time.
so won't we have some information from the proponents of this?
Would love for you to hear those answers.
I know that they aren't meeting again until January.
Correct.
So hopefully at their January meeting, which should be right before our meeting. Thank you.
We're talking about Chamber of Commerce with them on January meeting, so.
Good.
I'll,
So I'm not,
send them an email.
Yeah.
Resend the, what I sent them to. Give them X amount of weeks.
right. So if they want this to move forward, there's some unanswered,
So we would like to put on the January 7th council agenda.
we can't,
Absolutely.
It won't
right? It would have to be
until
after, it would have to be the
following-
one that would be tomorrow. The second meeting.
For what, January 2nd
Or
or
do you-
And they're not gonna put it up until the spring or summer anyway, so it's,
Yeah.
but just let them know that we're, probably going to give them some money, so we're not saying no at all, just so they're aware that we're not
Yeah.
just saying no, we just need some more answers.
Well, Chris was here the whole last time too.
Yeah, it's really, nothing's changed since last meeting. I mean, she was here when we had the discussion and when we passed the motion. What we were concerned about now is making sure we had enough money in this tax account and we could actually use it for that, I think.
Yes. That was the-
So we're going to leave it as is. We're going to leave the amount as is. We're going to leave the motion and the whole thing that we passed last month as is. Council's going to discuss it at their next meeting. And then you'll get answers from,
No,
No, we
January
will,
20th.
The January 20th meeting.
discuss at the meeting after this,
We won't discuss it again.
the second one.
oh,
So we'll
okay,
discuss it here first again.
in
before-
February.
In
In
January.
January. Our January EDA meeting, we will discuss it again.
But the council will not have discussed it yet?
No,
Because we don't want it until,
So we'll
Vet it
have
out here.
answers in the
Oh.
next-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. I thought the council was going to get the answers.
answers will come here.
Okay,
Not a photo.
clear as mud.
Miranda, you got that? You got our marching orders for the next,
She's on Facebook. Where are we?
did you capture all that, what we're doing? Did you hear Bridget whole?
Go watch it recorded later.
Okay, so any other questions on the Rochester sales tax or any other budget questions for Kim?
When are we going to use this money for the infrastructure?
Land.
Infrastructure?
Yeah.
For the,
You mean the industrial park?
Yeah.
Or business or industrial park? Whew, hopefully soon, but
I mean, I just
That's,
thought that's what it was for
it is. Yep.
for infrastructure.
No,
Industrial park.
Oh,
Yeah, so
Industrial
more
or
than likely,
business
we would
is what
use
it
it as a
says.
land purchase for industrial park because it's hard to get an industrial park going
Mhm.
without the city buying some of it and putting a road in.
Mhm.
Because then they're ready to go. And once a couple of them get in there, then developer will say, hey, you know what, we'll buy some more
Mhm.
and keep it
and
going.
we're
So,
talking like behind cold store and stuff out there, or?
Yep, somewhere over there
Okay.
is what our vision is. You know, we're still
Yeah.
talking about that as well. But
So as land becomes available, this money could be used to place an offer on the land.
Okay.
But the land is held pretty tightly, especially in that area. So, you know, submitting offers or,
No, any of it. It's not going to just happen like that.
no,
No.
yeah, it should happen much quicker, but
Right, okay.
it's a process.
Okay, again, back to my last statement. Anything more for Kim?
yes, I think, wasn't there some,
You mentioned the second story about you wanted to be able to deplete
some of these funds so we can,
them from our sources?
yeah. So, you know, some of the funds like the abatements, things like that, those won't increase, they'll just decrease as they go away. But other funds like our own EDA, the 404 fund, revolving loan account, the total amount currently, it would be nice to see that decreasing because that means we're giving out loans and business subsidies and things of that nature. So as far as that's what you're referencing, you know, yeah, things like that. And same with the state one, the 250 revolving loan. Seeing that utilized instead of sitting there is, you know, kind of the goal to decrease it.
But how much
Appropriately.
is there right now to utilize?
Not very much.
In which one?
The 250 revolving loan.
Like that.
No, 157.
Okay,
Look at this page.
I was like, that's not on the
No,
budget,
it's on
correct?
the,
That's where I-
it's in my caption, I just got right, way easier to see.
Do you have this one, Kim,
Um,
in that packet?
I just got-
Okay.
And that's what we look at here, correct, Kim?
Right.
So yeah, the 250 is the one from the state that came in the early 2000s for revolving loan purposes, and the 404 is similar, but our own.
so how do we put more money in there?
Well, if it's, you know, if it gets depleted, you know, theoretically you could ask,
Bunch more from the state of Minnesota?
yeah, or the 404, if we're depleting it, we can ask the city council for increasing the levy.
Well, that's not gonna happen. so.
Yeah, but then, looking at that 250 revolving loan,
Yeah.
what line do we look that tells the balance? The actual balance? Okay,
That's the balance. I hold all of the cash, equivalent, that's the balance. But there's nothing outstanding on this loan.
so what's that column ends balance?
That's your checkbook. I have three buckets, checking and money market, I see.
Okay, so
It's all
that's,
cash equivalent. If you have to liquidate it tomorrow, I can do it.
yep, that's what
I
I,
try and keep the smallest amount possible in checking and get the other things in that higher.
Perfect.
Earning account.
okay, that helps me. So then when we're looking at the front half of it, A, B, and C,
That's just.
is the beginning of the month.
Start-
Yep.
Yep.
NLP is the end of the month. Sense?
I thought there was talk to Kim that the city is looking at a different program than this or
We are.
and something that's a little more
Actually,
detailed?
that's the Dawn of Time budget that has been here forever. So actually, the entire budget's going to get revamped next year. I'm going to revamp it. I've got it.
This one's going to go away.
And we are in the process of looking at purchase of new computer software because we want to push it into the cloud. We don't want to be server based because of exactly what we found when the pandemic hit. Our software was not. A lot of problems with it. So anyhow, when that comes in, there'll be some different capabilities and some different formatting. I've been reviewing other cities' budgets, and I kind of like how some of them are laid out quite a bit better. It encapsulates the individual funds much better, and also it does do a small synopsis of what their plans are, which is something Dylan and I spend a lot of time discussing, short and long-term goals, what you've accomplished over the past year, what you want to accomplish. So that makes a better justification to if you want to be an increased fund, to ask the council for an increased funding amount, to really have a reason to do it.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense to have some,
Yeah.
right, even, short, medium and long-term strategy types of plans that we're spending and growth, so we can align, because it looks like a lot of money until you have to go purchase these land, and it doesn't look like any money.
Or the infrastructure.
And then it's
Yeah.
like, oh, I'm sorry, there goes one sewer line, done.
And we've been discussing, Dylan and I have been discussing land purchasing, if there's something were to become available, where would we
Leverage.
capture the funds from it, and there is still a balance when we build the business park and sold the parcels. There's some money from 150,000. There's a sales tax money that's, what is it?
207.
197 or whatever it is. So there you've got, and then mid threes, upper threes. There's also, if you didn't have your business loan revolving loan fund, the 404 fund,
Yep.
possibly per EDA action, you could actually use some of that money and put that into some kind of purchase as well.
So as far as purchasing power for something like real estate, we have about $500,000. But 500, Tim Mack, just outside of town here, he's selling 23 acres and it's just under 800. So things are expensive. So we have a lot of money, but it's hard to get a lot of real estate, especially when we're talking infrastructure, because an acre's worth of but
And when we built the industrial park we have now, we purchased the land, but we bonded for the. So.
Yep. And, my goal with our limited capacity for a multitude of things is always try to find ways to leverage the money. Not that the county would ever help out with a business park expansion, but if we ever got.
Isn't that what, didn't Angie Gray earmark something for another city for business park expansion, because it was EDA? So there's maybe some federal avenues that
Sure.
we can explore as well. Pretty sure it was.
And see, Tina, the other week when we were emailing about the facility or a community center, it's like the EDA could theoretically, plus with the 206 fund for the business park, have $500,000. That's, it would be a good start though. And then you leverage that with hopefully other communities for a community center. That me and her were discussing ideas for a community center, because somewhere recently, I forget where the first example you sent, but community center would service a senior need, childcare need, community need, kind of like the other month when we were talking about incubator spaces, same idea, but on a community scale. Because the EDA has a plan for the city in whole, and most cities in our county have childcare issues, senior care issues, and community centers kind of solve that. Community centers are 10 million plus.
Resources. And so I sent Dylan that because I had seen something that came out from the Mayo Clinic Health System, where in, wasn't it Fairmont? It starts with L. Where does Sarah Johnson live? Up there? No, but they're Lonsdale, somewhere up there, that Mayo Clinic had donated land plus, $500,000 to help in this. They built, with the Y and other reserves, this multi-use kind of community center. But I was like, oh, wait. There's dollars available potentially from other avenues. I think Agent Craig had one of those in there too, and it hurt earmarked appropriation dollars for her district. But what Bill and I were talking about was that where that blue house sits out, just where they're building the World War II Memorial, the Veterans Memorial. There's a little house that was sold off there, and I'm like, that'd be a great spot to purchase that spot and, create more of a community gathering location that's multi-purpose building, but not like pools and YMCA kind of things, but.
And that spot's good too, because it's first city-owned land, so you don't need to worry about the land purchase. Two, it already has the ball fields, the basketball courts. You don't need to worry about those types of improvements outside.
Already have parking lot. Can't do anything else with the flood zone buyout that's there. So it was just like one of the things I was like, okay, wait, there's, as we learn more about where some potential funding can come from, that was just another avenue where I said, okay, why aren't we leveraging those kind of resources to bring a facility like that to Zumbrota? So
it's a small leverage, but it's a start,
Right, and those dollars are available apparently every year from me, so I'm gonna figure out how to.
Yeah.
But I think we just have to have a concept plan and an idea.
I know, I would love for the community center to be city-owned for revenue purposes, but it'd probably be privately owned, just because us with Mayo is only $1 million, and the studies that we've looked into it, I mean, it's upwards of $10 million for a small community center without pools and even a basketball court. You know what I mean?
Really?
So the most recent community center done in the state is actually in St. Paul, and it's about 20,000 square feet, which is not that big for a community center. And it was 19 million. So, and then the one you sent was about 22 million, but that was double the size. I want to say
Yeah, but the one that was the trailhead in Minneapolis Park, that was kind
I
of
forgot about
just more of a modern
well, that's,
multi-purpose building.
That's more of just,
yeah.
gathering space.
Yeah, with bathrooms and.
So something like that.
Reception facilities and classes can be held and
I'd expect,
whatever senior activities want to be happening, or a section for youth development activities.
yeah, I'd expect something like that to be a lot cheaper, because
So I would hope.
it's a lot smaller, but
Right.
then you lose out on subscriptions and memberships or things like that community center brings. But yeah, anyways,
We digress. So anyways,
I'm trying to get Kim out of here. Anyway, is there any other questions for her on the budgets?
I do have a comment because I was looking at Brian's questions that he
Yep.
submitted. And, one of the questions that I was from Brian was about the descriptions and such for the categories. Well, I'm kind of landlocked with those because I'm tied to a church. But what we can do is we can make a cheat sheet for you that says, hey, this number here, this is what we spent. So you have more. And I think that would that be helpful?
That's what I'm looking for,
Okay.
something that's more descriptive and yet elementary, simpler.
Absolutely, I can make it. When people come with requests, at least then you would know where you could take.
potentially what line we can look at.
I mean, I find this, in my personal interpretation, it's so simple that it's confusing to me. I don't really understand what it tells me. And it's another side question. On this budget here, under the 403 EDA, the expenditures, why are we not budgeting anymore for our,
He's not covered, he's on, he's under,
Eda. Yeah.
but isn't that something that we still pay for?
it's on, we pay for half.
Right. So where does it,
We don't pay, so there's no fight doc.
where does it show up on here then?
Department services on the next page, top of the next page. It started here in 2020.
Oh, okay. Good. See, there again, it's not,
And I can't pull off those first, because normally what I do is I take those out, they're not for anymore, but I can't because if I pull them off, it blows up this year's back when it's.
okay.
Make it pretty.
I know, thank you. Anything else for Kim?
would we want to go over Brian's questions?
Oh.
Well, I wish he was here, because I don't, this is just from his email. So what he did was, if you guys have this sheet, this is just a printout of his Excel. He highlighted 4. Do you have this one, Kim?
No, I just have answers here.
Oh, okay, well, good. I was gonna say, so transfers in his question is from the city is brought as part of budget contribution.
Yeah, that's your budget contribution that we levy, a portion that we levy from the city that goes directly to PEA. That's a transfer in every, it happens every year.
So explaining that in a different way, every
So
year we
every
get
year
62
you
grand.
get an allotment of money from the general fund, which is
Yep.
city council. And so they set that up in your budget and in January, I just say, okay, I take the money out of the general fund and I give it to the 403 fund.
So every year 6288 for the past 3 years, I should say. And then that goes.
And then that's for your operating expenses.
Okay.
Contributing.
All right. His next question is the highlight of professional fees for 4,400.
That can be a floating target at times. That fee that year was your TIF fees for the Keller Bartman project. Those will be reimbursed over time with the admin payments from the TIF as it comes forward in payment.
And then his next one is the compensation category for, and his question is EDA board members.
Statutorily, EDA members have to be paid to be on the board. Other boards in the city are not. But EDA must be paid, and it's $15 per attended meeting.
That's why Dave keeps missing. That's bad.
So if you can only get $30, you know you've only got your place.
All right. So then his, Brian's last question was Department of Services, and then he said to CETA for Dylan.
That's
Yep. And then we just went over that one. Anybody have any questions about those questions? I have another one just for clarification purposes. So the PA system up to 10 would come out of the 13 or 21.
If you vote and you want it out of the, if you want it out of the, or the state sales tax or the private sales tax, out of the criminal fund.
And then anything left in there is just what's going to.
Would go to the business fund. And I just wanted to remind you guys too that anything that's not spent that's budgeted for, if we get more revenue than anything, it just builds up your balance, just like in your checking account. You don't buy that really expensive car, you buy less expensive model, you have 4,000 more extra dollars in your account or whatever. So a few years ago, when the vet clinic came in, remember they needed some assistance and we were tapped out because the monies were loaned out to the board for their expansion to the price. So the EDA took their balance, which was approximately $70,000, I believe, and loaned it to the vet clinic, which is being paid back. So that will also increase your balances by within the 403. That's, you normally don't do your loans out of there, but because we were committed other cases, that was.
I have another one too. So from our conversation, I want to say yesterday, normally requests like a PA system or any type of assistance of that nature would come out of the 403 fund. And then Kim and I were talking yesterday that we'd like to keep half of that normally. The 403, you said you always like to keep.
I like to keep 50. I like to keep, like right now, we've got, today, I went through and told everything, we've got about $65,000 in there. We've got some, there might be a little less. I like to keep at least half of that in reserve for the operating expenses, because then when you get your allotment, I still have money ahead. So if something ever happens, we get unallotted, anything like that, we have some funds. I really want to be conscious of not spending us too close to the bone if we have anything. But if you have a request that comes up, you have a little cushion to take care of that. It's not a ton, but you might have to pay in there, which could help us.
And so to offer explanation on the, so 65, keeping half of it, the 30,000 that's roughly available in any given year is not earmarked.
But if you have a check, say you have a check come in, it costs $10,000 in admin. It has to come from somewhere. So that's why it's always wise to keep that.
Would it make it easier for accounting purposes for the PA request to come out of 403 instead of RSD? Okay.
I want the sales tax dollar to.
I agree. However, I want it as much as we can have for real estate purchases because we need more, but see what I'm saying?
I do. I'm just saying that the amount that we allotted for downtown improvement, that PA system fits perfectly into that bucket. That would be my reasoning for it coming from that. And then then we can kind of put the bow on records for sale tax dollars that we allotted for the downtown business improvement project and then move forward, clean slate with the rest of it to go towards land purchase.
And I think that going forward with requests, this is kind of an interesting perspective or an interesting deal. You're going to have to be very cognizant of what you have and what you can pull from it. And other people who are requesting are going to have, that it might be a longer term request. Yeah, we could do it in a year, or so.
And that wasn't the case this time. I mean, it was just kind of dropped in and, oh, here's what we want to do.
Well, I think they were planning to, I think their idea was to have that before the holiday
Oh, I know,
season
I know.
this year, but, well, supply chain issues. So now they have a more appropriate time to plan and get all the things that we need to.
But I also think it came at a good time because it definitely got the ball rolling on understanding
Right.
everything we're looking at.
I agree.
The other question I could think of from last month is not necessarily changing the description of a fund, but a line item. I don't remember who brought that up. And me and Kim talked about that. So essentially it's no changing around.
It depends on what we have available. I mean, as far as, there's culture accounts that are different, the same account numbers used in different places. We can look and see what's available. Yeah.
Sure.
Cheat sheet is just- We can make it work.
Okay. Anything else? Thank you for your help and your assistance and your work.
Hey, Pam.
Okay, new business, 2022 membership discussion.
Yeah, so last month you brought up that Brian's terms ending end of January.
Right.
And since then, he's served 2 terms, correct? Needs to be notes, but I've heard that he served 2 terms and the EDA bylaws say you can serve back-to-back 6, then you have to take 2 years off. So I was hoping he would be here so he can confirm. But long story short, to create notes, I created this and I want you guys to all fill this out. Just, whenever the year you started, but then if this is your first or second term.
And I remember that, and Miranda has, because you sent this to me once before. Yep, we've talked about this before. In fact,
You know, it's my first term.
The only
but
one
I
we
could tell you
have-
when I started.
Sure, the only one we have
you
in the computer.
were,
But there was
Right.
Sheet somewhere.
a couple meetings ago, we had it printed out where
Was that the
our name and when our term was up. Last time was
Had Billy on it.
then it was Brian, next year is me, then it's Dave.
Which month was this?
I was on before Dave.
Well, then you'd be right after me.
Let me see, I have my old emails. I'll see if it's on an agenda.
That's what I was gonna say. I can look at agenda by
It's
agenda,
on the agenda.
Right here. I've got it right here. But it doesn't tell us what term it is.
No, it doesn't tell us what term, and that would have to be in the records someplace.
Yep, so Brian, technically 12/31/21.
Oh, so he's just,
And see, they're done in December. We
Yeah.
start in January.
Rich, year 2022. I'm 2023. Dave is 2024.
That's when we're done. Now, as far as the number of terms, your first term, Dave's first term, and I'm sure I'm the second term.
We started the second term. Ours matter because we're appointed by city council. Because we might not make it 6 years.
December 16th.
Might get voted out.
2020.
okay.
But this is all we've got.
So then I can look in the month. Because long story short, we don't have a file for what terms, when people started in the computer. We only have one for the park board. We have one for, I agree, we have one for, technically, we don't have one for the planning commission because they're in perpetuity.
There because I created it.
Yeah.
And he's a notebook.
Well, and I think you're gonna have to go back and look, like, say, I mean, I know I have been coming to these for, it seems like forever, but I can't remember if I came because I was a school representative or if I was actually a member. But I'm sure, I'm almost certain this is my second term. It's gotta be 12 years. Because I'm retired for 11 years.
I only think Ryan.
Right. Yeah,
6 years, yeah.
They remember, because
Was
we had it
Brian
in the
here
packet
when you
somewhere.
started?
No,
Then it wouldn't be Brian's
Oh,
second term
no.
if it was your second term.
I don't think so. And I think Billy, because Billy was on here at the same time that I was. And Billy's was the second term. I don't think Brian's is the
So
second
you
term.
can, was Billy done last year at this time or 2 years ago?
No, last year.
Last year.
Last year.
So somewhere in there, because we looked at who was up.
yeah. It's from December of last year. She has a breakdown on the
But it
agenda.
doesn't tell us how many terms we've served, just when our term is.
I wonder where Ryan got that from.
It's a great question. Probably a Post-it note. It's not in the computer.
You'd probably have to, I mean, I assume you
Hard
have
copy one.
minutes from,
Yeah, that's where I looked and that's where I found the old
you don't have
bylaws.
minutes from
I
our
found,
past meetings,
You know,
but I
It
mean,
doesn't tell us the term.
I know, but if you went back,
Oh, we could look
if you went back 10 years and Rich Meyerhofer was on there, obviously I was on there and then keep going back until I suddenly showed up. And then
Well,
you'd
we
be
know
able
when
to
your
tell.
term is ending, so you just need to go back 6 years from now and find out if Rich was voting,
voting, yeah.
because then it would be his second term.
Yeah, that'd be the same things, different way of saying
Sure.
it.
She's always gonna sass you.
I'm used to it. Get really thick skin. Okay, so anyway, in our discussion, Brian is not, what is our discussion?
So if
We
he
are
was,
assuming that it is Brian's first term.
Yep.
And he
Yep.
can serve again.
So
if
then-
he chooses.
if you, yeah. And then the discussion would turn towards, say he didn't want to renew a term. There's a vacancy. What are your thoughts? What do you think of? Tina and I both reached out to Dave Dolan, who has expressed interest in if there's availability. He served on the council. Kim and I met and she gave me a list of about 4 people that she thinks would be good, potentially for an EDA, things of that nature. So, but if you guys have thoughts, recommendations, nominations, I guess, if Brian was here, he'd be able to tell us if he's thinking towards renewing too. So
Right,
How are we handling those who have neglected to show up
exactly.
meeting after meeting?
that's my second part
There's
too.
been 10 missed meetings out of a year.
They changed the meeting to try to make it.
Yeah, he can, and yeah, when we changed it, I think Dave and Danny came for the first 1 or 2, but then it went back to not being here. So the bylaws say, you could vote off people if that's but the thing I thought of is if we find people who are willing to be on, I could just approach Dave or Danny and say, we have someone who would take over your spot. Would you be interested? And we can do it that way too. I don't, there's no, how did Dave Dolan come on council? Is because somebody got elected to mayor? Is that what the story I remember?
Yeah.
Is that what it
we
was?
could appoint someone for 2 years.
Could? Yep.
We did.
And then they're still eligible for 2 to 6-year terms, or how does that?
Yep.
Does that work?
Oh, so they would, we're asking if they would assume that other person's.
Yeah, if the term that they're filling is over halfway done, then it doesn't count as a term.
Oh, okay,
Okay.
At least that's how this.
Yeah, that's what this year.
okay.
And I have the bylaws here too. But I wish it was on the
So
computer.
if he was interested, he could take Dave's spot. It wouldn't count as a term because Dave is.
In a second.
No.
More than half.
More than.
Is he?
I think he started the year that I started.
Would be third year.
He's been to the meetings. I'm sorry, but it's true.
Valid discussion. Yeah, but there's people interested, they should be able to be here if
So
something's
like,
not.
it's hard to have a farm too, 7 people, right? So. That's what we're doing.
Makes it hard to do business.
And I do think that it feels bad. It's just the nature of his work right now is he is just gone. He's traveling.
Was like for a while.
Um, So. Yeah, I think this, having it in the evening has helped him, but at the same time, it hasn't changed his travel week. So he for sure could make the 7 o'clock meeting anymore.
Did
Obviously.
you hear anything from Danny as far as why not tonight?
No. So that, you know, that's probably my problems when, you know, people email saying they're sick, you know, but Danny's kid had COVID 2 months ago. She did. But then, you know, majority of her absences are just no-shows.
Well, and it's,
Do you want us to RSVP?
It'd be nice to know. I mean, when me and Rich are here early, wondering, no. But it would be nice, just click the,
I'll always be here unless I call you.
yeah,
You know.
yeah,
I guess
I mean,
that's-
too.
Email you or whatever, yeah.
yep.
well, and I'm not sure that it's your responsibility to babysit people either. I mean, when you send out the agenda a week in advance, if I'm not going to be there, I will certainly let somebody know.
He should send it out on Monday. A week in advance is a long time for me.
Yeah, it's like, I will confess, I was laying on the couch looking at my phone like, crap, I have a meeting tonight. But
So Monday,
I don't have anything going on, so I can make it, but.
This came, like, I've had 400 emails from people.
yeah.
I have multiple reminders in my phone because otherwise I won't forget.
Well, do you send it as
A day ahead.
meeting request or a meeting outlook?
No.
When you send the A, whatever, that like dings on my phone.
So
The last couple you
Yes.
had, you could do it, but this last one was not, because I looked.
it was whenever we switched our go-to meetings, my go-to meeting capacity doesn't bring it to my Outlook anymore, and then I can add attendees. So it just helps, it makes me create the meeting, I copy in the meeting now, and then I open up a new email, and then I just send it. But it used to be real nice where it would
Can you just send it?
kick it over.
You just set up the meeting and copy the go-to information into the meeting.
Yeah, I can do it that way too, instead of just email. Yep, and that's how it was for,
So are we going to leave it that, are you going to contact Brian? And to
Yeah.
see what his intentions are? Okay, and then if you can let us know, even before the next meeting, I mean, as soon as possible.
yeah,
And then if he's willing to stay on and he's able to stay on as far as the time length, then we can proceed looking at, well, if he stays on, it's okay, but what, I guess the elephant in the room is still Danny. What do we,
Oh, I think you just tell her, sorry, but you're not here enough. We're looking for someone else.
Yeah, because we've
That's
got
what
someone
the-
else interested. we're gonna-
We've given you chances, we've changed the time, you know, you can't feel bad anymore. And I know Danny, and I mean, she'll just go, well, I wasn't, you know, she'll just go, I
Yeah.
wasn't there, you know. And I
At the gym.
you
I
know,
think
we-
she wants to be, it's that she has 4 kids. Oh,
Right.
no. No, how she does it, I know.
There's other people around here that do that.
well, and we've had this conversation because the last time, 3 or 4 months ago, the intention was to do just what you said,
Yep.
and Brian was the
Yep.
one that said we need to give her one more chance, which we've done. So I
yeah.
think we've gone
I don't think we need to feel bad.
above and beyond, and so, okay, so we're going to direct Dylan to inform her that she's services are no longer available or needed, and we are going to start pursuing one additional new member for January, and hoping that Brian will continue on.
What about Dave?
Oh, forgot.
I think we should do both of them.
Okay.
I mean, I think Dave's great, I think
Dave
Dave's
will
great.
always have us.
Yeah.
And he already,
I think we should be looking for 2.
Multiple.
possibly 3.
All right, so we're going to inform
Yep.
both Danny and Dave?
I was gonna say they have,
This is on the appointments list, the January 6th meeting. EDA is on there too, right, Miranda?
Yes.
To
So,
be real, yeah.
so if we don't have names, then when we do the official
Oh,
appointments at the beginning of the year.
It's
No,
just
don't-
for, it's
Don't
just,
we do the whole board though?
No.
We don't do all,
No.
okay.
no, it's just for us that we're on that. It's just about the city council and what their boards they're on.
That's right, okay.
Sure.
Mhm.
So I'll look
I
for
believe anyway.
2 interested parties and then speak with Brian, and then we'll work out a plan based on his decision as well.
I mean, I have to wonder if he didn't say anything and just quit inviting him to the meetings, that David Danny would just not, I mean, it would be just like, that he didn't know. I mean, it could be that, I mean, we want to tell him obviously, but
Okay, so we don't need to have any official motion or that, or do you want it?
So
Do
who,
I want it? No, do you want it? If
is
you want the
somebody
bylaw.
going to talk to Dave? You are?
Yeah, I can reach out to him.
And then you have 4 other names?
Yeah, Dave Dolan, which we already spoke to.
Yep.
And then Kim gave me a couple, not who are interested, but who would be nice
Potentially.
fits, I'll call it. Because that's what I asked her. Kim is being a lifer here. I think you were gone at the time and you were at lunch. Because I wanted to ask the people who've been here, who do you think, And Kim knows a lot of people, so she gave me a list of a couple people that I should reach out to and see if they're even interested.
Do we still have to post it legally?
Yeah, you probably should. So we can post it. And then I can
Do we
reach
get
out.
to know who the other names are?
I'm trying to remember. One was Heinrichs, one was Lyle Windroff, one was, I want to say, from the other insurance agency. If I've never heard it, I know Lyle Windroff pretty well, but if I hear a name for the first time, I gotta see it 2 or 3 times. I want to say her name was Carol.
jump in.
So is that, and this, or something, interested,
I would think that he would not show up.
Yeah, I was thinking we're getting the
His
same
work
thing.
schedule is that?
Yeah, and I'm not sure what his.
I mean,
He has
it's
$100 that he's at the bar sometimes.
has shown interest.
Sure, that makes sense. The other thing I thought about too is I was hoping Brian was going to be here because I was going to ask him if anybody else that he knows, maybe at the bank, because I think it'd be nice for always to have some sort of, bank as a
Why
broad
don't you
connection.
put that out there to him, and when you're gonna ask him anyway and just see if he knows, and then
Yep.
we'll probably have to operate on a skeleton crew in January, and then hopefully by February we can have some people. Right, I mean, it's not like it's.
It looks like Brian's first meeting that he was on the attendance list was January 1st.
So first term.
But I don't know if he wants to do it.
Yeah.
I'm
Correct, but the door's open if he wants.
I'm thinking,
I think he would. He shows up to council just for fun.
nerd
The
alert.
bank delegates him to do that.
Oh, do they?
Really? I thought it was just for his personal knowledge.
Yeah,
Last time I
He's
saw,
well informed.
I hope he watches this thing.
yeah,
I know.
Well, he gives a great financial
Yeah.
does.
knowledge and he does a great job of doing it without,
teasing him.
so that was where my conversation with Kim went, because it would be nice to have always someone with a financial background in certain capacity, always serving on the EDA, just as a, so there's always a Brian.
Either a banker or an
Yeah.
accountant or something.
Yep.
that- Yeah.
Brian's been saying Dave might come on, then I think we need to find another woman. Let's not get outnumbered here, ladies.
The one from the other insurance company was a girl name, but I don't remember what Kim said. I'll look into that more, but so I'll look for 2 parties, make a post, talk to Brian, talk to Danny and Dave.
If I think of anyone, I'll email you.
Yeah,
okay, we'll just do that as an informal directive to you. We don't need official do we, or no?
We we will probably at that, once we know about Brian, we will at that first meeting have to make a motion to end all 3 terms, don't we? And then add?
Yeah,
Because we have to
if you're
step.
going to forcibly, if
Yeah, we have
you're
to
going
do
to ask people if they're going to step, willing to step aside.
But right now, the directions we've indicated to Dylan, we don't need to have any kind of a, that's what I'm talking about. Yes.
yeah.
And then you vote on that. If you were going to say no, we're going to tell them. then they're done. Then that.
Right, if we don't get
Voted on for
anything
sure.
from either of them, say, we'll have to have that on the agenda to vote them off. And then accept.
Anyway, right? We're not
Right.
giving them the option.
No more.
Okay.
It's been how long?
Yeah.
I
Year.
mean, I'm not trying to hurt anybody's feelings, but if you obviously don't want to be on it.
Right. Well.
Or
just
you do
doesn't-
and you just don't have.
Sometimes it doesn't work for people.
Yeah,
So,
right. I mean, or you do or don't have time, so, yeah.
all right. That's pretty much beat to death, I think. So reports, Zeba, request for assistance. Do we need any more on that?
No, thankfully, we kind of segued into this in the RST talk.
Yeah.
And if anybody has any questions, I guess, but I think we covered that one.
Okay. LMC course, public financials. Is that class?
Yep, so this is just more of an update. December 2nd, I want to say the class was sent out. So in your emails, it comes from a Lessonly email through the League of Minnesota Cities, because most people, I just had the same conversation last night at the Planning Commission. People were looking for the League of Minnesota Cities to email them, but it's a third-party service called Lessonly. And I want to say it was December 2nd, they shot you an email with the course. So you have the availability to take it now
Until December 31st.
Okay.
until
So
December.
2031 or something. It's not
Oh.
it's like 2030.
What if we didn't get the email?
What if I didn't get it? I don't know, or I deleted it.
Then I can ask them to resend it, or,
We could probably just
And
forward
it's-
the ones we have.
well, that's the other
If
thing.
it's a generic
Yeah.
thing,
You
then
said
have to put your info in.
December 2nd?
I want to say they said it was
What's it
December
called?
2nd. It's,
December
so
2nd.
the word
I got mine
lesson,
December 2nd at 3:40 p.m.
The
Who
word
is the
lesson-
actual return sender?
the word lesson with LY at the end. Yeah.
LESS
Or ONLY.
Lessonly. Yeah, I definitely don't have that.
Got nothing. So like Miranda just said, I could forward you mine, because what I believe is you just have to, like Sarah and Tina, you already have
So I
accounts.
have it.
You already have accounts with the league. So you just sign into the league and it takes you to their course page, I'll call it. I don't know what it's called. But Lindsay and Rich, if you don't have accounts, they'll just make you sign up for a quick account and then it'll take you to the course page.
Yeah, I definitely don't have it, so if you could.
Yep. So I'll resend that one out too. You got it?
I don't either. I don't have it.
So what we're saying, I wasn't here last meeting, so what we're saying is we're all taking this class or, okay.
Yep.
If you want to.
Leisure.
Yep.
Gives you the general overview of those categories.
Yep.
That Kim was talking about. It'll give you what the numbers typically are used for.
No, you don't have to. I think it was more of a volume discount.
It was a volume,
You know, the
yeah.
park board wanted to.
Oh, sure.
Why not?
From, for the past couple of months, we've been talking about budget. So I did some research, found the league offering. Coincidentally, the park board offered sentiment that they want to learn budgeting a little bit more. And then we were halfway to the volume discounts and we added planning commission, some city staff, and we all have a public finance 101 and 201 course to take.
So that would be my question. If we, you go in through the league anyway, so that's how they count your, how many
You'll have to create
licenses
it.
or whatever they
Yeah,
charge you for.
yep, they already sent us the invoice too.
Okay, we just got added to the tornado watch.
Okay, we can,
Rain around 7 PM.
Tornado till 8. Okay, moving on. Financial, new business recognitions.
so this one's just more of a fun one. December 1st, Brian, I, and the mayor went out and delivered those plaques because we coordinated schedules. So this is just, I wanted to show you pictures of it.
Sure.
And I brought the paper because this week we made the front and side cover.
Oh.
The EDA did. So I didn't want to print everybody else's pictures.
No. That's,
Why don't even?
That's the engineering, that's that nutrition,
yeah,
the tattoo.
that's nice. Very nice.
Your name?
Is,
R.
and that's the article that News Record wrote.
Here's the article in the paper.
Yep, I read that today.
Oh, okay.
I still subscribe.
So do I. Paper copy. All right. Thank you for doing that, Bill.
Mike Zogit KLJ Engineering.
What kind of engineering?
Civil.
Civil
I was gonna
engineering.
say civil, yeah.
That's
It
quite a
wasn't
bit.
always
Well,
KLJ, it started the year out as
Zilgit.
NJZ.
Well, it was always just Zilgit.
They'll get design.
And then they bought, yeah.
He was with Mike and Jared, his brother Jared.
Oh, well, no, that's a separate company, I think. Don't they buy?
There's a couple.
Yeah, they've got some
Thank you.
We
buildings.
work, Countryside
Oh,
works
the
for
you got theirs?
both separate entities.
Yeah, because they own some buildings.
Okay, anything else for the good of the group?
I didn't have someone to take all the pictures, so I think.
Good job.
Except for
Good
that.
job, Brian.
How is this one going?
Good, they seem to be doing pretty well in
They
there.
got a pizzeria.
Wonderful
Cool.
tea in there.
Hudson's favorite thing to say is pizza.
I am like literally, let's be done recording.
Yeah.
Anything else for the good of the group, people?
Don't believe so.
People? People?
She's talking to you,
Meeting's
Tina.
adjourned.
He was looking at you.